Hey Internet, we are back with another round of X-Wing from Curio Cavern on Loisdale Street in Springfield, Virginia. This is the third and final round from their regular Tuesday night match with, I believe, 27 people in attendance that week, which was at capacity, in quotation marks, because they always find room for a couple more people. I think they've gotten it up to like 30.
Yeah, 32. Until this past week when we had 30 people. Well, hello, my name is Tim.
I'm Derek.
And we are Many Boffins.
And this time we're going to watch somebody else die to bring you some information.
Oh, finally. Someone else.
Yeah, so who are these lovely pairs of hands that we're going to be watching here?
Well, over here on the left we have Aaron, and Aaron is running R2-D2. Excuse me, he's running
R2-D2.
He's running R2-D2 by
piloting
himself.
the Falcon.
He's running Biggs with R4-D6 and integrated astromech.
And R4-D6 is that you can take stress to negate damage beyond 2 hits.
Yeah, bring it down to 2, right?
Yeah. So it's the anti Proton rocket.
Ezra with Elusiveness, Autoblaster turret, and Chewbacca. And Corran with R2-D2 fire control systems, draw their fire, and a hull upgrade.
So he's got the draw their fire, so you have to shoot Biggs, and anytime you land a crit, he just makes one of them disappear, and then R2-D2 gets rid of it.
And then on the right here, we've got Clayton. He's running a Palob with Cloak, the title, Tactician, and TLT. 1 contracted scout with Overclocked, Astromech, 4 LOM, ion torpedoes, Deadeye, and guidance chips and extra munitions. And another contracted scout with R4 Agromech, Proton torpedoes, Outlaw tech, extra munitions, Deadeye, and guidance chips.
So I think those ion torps might be pretty deadly to Aaron in this game, because I know he wants to run close formation, especially with Biggs. And ion torps, they're not good against big ships because you only assign 1 ion token.
Yeah.
But he can ion that entire squad. So that is going to be pretty scary. I actually played against him with a similar list, but he was running Torkel instead of Palob. And I was running my Han Jake build. And, Jake's not going to get hit by the ion torps, probably. But he can't be anywhere near Han because Han will definitely get hit, and then he'll just splash the ion onto Jake, and then Jake's dead.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of bumping here on Clayton's side in the beginning. But, rule of 11, is that what it is?
Yep.
You don't have to worry about any combat here.
Yeah, as long as the first one, the one in the front gets its action, he doesn't have to really worry about the one in the back. And now he has a really nice way of measuring the distance between the 2 ships.
Definitely.
So I don't really know if I like Aaron's position here, because it looks like it's going to be possible for both of the scouts to maybe fire torpedoes in this next round.
Yeah, what are you hoping for here? I think I'm just going to do 1 forwards with each of them.
With the scouts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, assuming the back one doesn't bump in that scenario, in which case what Aaron wants to do is be at range 1 of the front scout. Being at range 1 is not bad, because it actually means that scout is now firing 1 fewer red dice than it normally would with its torpedoes at range 2 to 3.
Yeah, and those red dice can't be modified with guidance chips.
All right.
Or as we affectionately call them, guidance chips. Both of us at the same time went to take a drink from our glasses. We really should time our beverage intake.
Yeah. So Tim, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking delicious
like
purified water, straight from the Soma filter. Soma filters are made of all recyclable and compostable products, unlike your Brita filter. Check them out on soma.com. I don't know if that's true or not.
I believe, based on how long the little red light on my Brita filter's been blinking, it now counts as recycled.
I feel like that Brita filter may have gained sentience. That's how old it is.
It's a Cylon. That's the blinking red light.
So yeah, assuming that the scouts just go real short maneuvers, you want to go really far forward with the rebel list.
Yeah. Palob's not the most useful guy in this situation. None of Aaron's ships really are scared of him the way that like Sunterfell can tend to be scared of him, but Ezra, he doesn't need focus for defense. Corran would prefer to have a focus, but he's going to get, the fire control system running. And Biggs would like to have a focus for defense, but it's not, crucial to his squad to have those tokens.
So we're seeing a 4 forward. It looks like maybe
going for
an
a bump,
attempt to
possibly?
bump.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Maybe he thinks that he can get them to overshoot him.
Yeah, so Aaron may have been thinking about what we were talking about, which is try to jump into range 1 and deny them the shots. And this is what I really hate about facing these scouts with like a ship like Jake or somebody who wants to pop into range 1, is they can either do a 1 forward and you're going to be too far away if you went slow, or 4 forward and then you get bumped and then the one behind them just slaughters you. So that is one of the really nasty things about the multiple scout list, is one of them can turn itself into a blocker.
So I'm pretty sure that the ship in the front is the one with the R4 agromech.
No.
And the one in the back is Outlaw Tech. Overclocked Astromech.
No, I think the one with the Overclocked has recon spec, so he should have 2 tokens.
No, you're thinking of the list from this week. I don't think he has recon specialist on this.
Okay,
on this pilot? I think that
crew on it.
I think there's just crew on Palob.
Okay, he may have gotten the points back from switching to Torple. That makes sense then. That TLT is going to be really deadly to these X-Wings, though. Those 2 agility dice ships absolutely hate TLTs. So,
I now only just now understand what you're saying about Palob not being a big threat to these X-Wings.
Palob's ability, not Palob's twin laser turret.
So you're like, oh, that's hilarious. So it looks like Corran's attacking the back jump master, and he evaded all of them. I saw a lot of paint on those dice.
And that often happens. I mean, he was bumped. It's a range 3 shot, so 3 dice into 3 unmodified. But the important thing is he's picked up his target lock for fire control, and he has the option to double tap. I haven't flown Corran a whole lot. He's a really tricky pilot to get the hang of the first time. But the rule that I found with whether or not to double tap. So the first thing you ask yourself is, will I get a kill?
Right.
If you're gonna get a kill, you double tap 95% of the time. Especially like if you've stripped tokens off of a ship that's otherwise hard to put damage on, then you definitely want to double tap. But otherwise, the question is just, am I going to have a follow-up shot next turn? And if you're going to have a shot next turn, you don't bother double tapping.
Right. So this is.
And it looks like you probably will, be able to shoot that scout next turn.
Yeah.
And just do a pretty, basic slow maneuver and have arc on him again.
That was another ineffectual attack. Biggs into the scout. It looks like Clayton evaded all of them. There was some debate on whether or not to spend a focus token.
Yeah, so do you think it's Aaron's backhand dice rolling that was hurting him there?
Yeah, I definitely think so.
He has like a really non-traditional dice rolling style.
What would you say is a traditional dice rolling style?
What we're seeing from Clayton, the side hand dice rolling.
Side hand dice rolling.
Yeah, and I mean, from somebody who's got not quite a net deck, but the 2 scouts plus another ship is a pretty common archetype. You expect to see that sort of traditional dice rolling.
All right, you were right. R4 agromech is in the back. It looks like Ezra took a shield off of the ship with R4 agromech, and now this is a proton shot at Biggs. And it looks like we're seeing
3 or 4 hits here.
Yeah, no, it's I think it's pretty solidly 4 hits, if not 2 hits and 2 crits.
And it looked like 1 evade from Aaron, so shields are going down.
Well, actually, what's going to happen is Corran Horn is going to draw one of those crits away.
Okay, right. So that's super useful against proton torpedoes.
Right. Well, and especially with R2-D2.
Yeah, he does not mind just eating 1. And at this point, after all the ships have already moved, Aaron knows if next turn he's planning on doing a green maneuver or not. And if the obvious safe maneuver is a green maneuver, and you're not really, your opponent already knows you're going to do it, you go ahead and you take, the 1 shield. And did Biggs take any stress there, or did he just?
No, Biggs didn't take any stress. I don't think that he was able. I think that he evaded 1. and was able to draw one away from Corran.
So that did not
leaving just the 2 shields left on Biggs.
So if it was 3 hits and 1 crit, I think you could R4D6 1 away and draw their fire 1 away, and then lose 2 shields.
I don't know the timing on that.
Oh, but he evaded 1, so then he couldn't R4D6 because that's only normal hits. So if he had not evaded, he could have just taken a stress instead. Which again here he's probably just going to do like a 1 forward to shoot at that jump master again.
Most likely.
In which case you don't care about having a single stress token.
Yeah, I think here the maneuvers are pretty simple. I think the front jump master is going to do two sloop left.
A left 2 sloop is a pretty solid maneuver for that jump master.
Palob, I think I really want to do maybe a 3 bank right. I want to steer wide around that rock.
So right going back towards Clayton?
Back towards the top of the screen.
Okay, so towards the middle of the board.
Yeah, Palob's right.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm gonna go 2 or 3 forward with the other jump master.
Try to get a bump in.
Yeah, I want to get as many bumps in as possible.
Get in a bump, let the other one fire its torpedo against Biggs. Yeah, I like that. But I mean, Aaron ain't no fool, so he might be turning all of his ships to try to go after that jump master that's gonna fire its torpedoes. Although man, he doesn't have a great target just because of that bump threat. Because that scout can potentially, if he just goes straight, that scout's going to bump 2 of his ships. In which case, well, it will be Corran shooting, and he can double tap with Corran, but that's
unless Corran is bumped, and then you're taking shots at Palob. No, I think you want to try to bump as many ships as possible. But that's also why I want to take a really wide arc with Palob, because I want to make sure that Palob's at range 3 of everybody, and maybe at best out of arc or out of range. Yeah, this is definitely a tough turn here for Aaron, and you're going to see a lot of indecision. Everybody's got to check the dials.
Yeah, so I mean, one possibility here is you have Biggs and Corran go slow. I think it would be really hard to block Corran and block somebody else, and then Ezra go fast, and Ezra can fire his Autoblaster turret if he overshoots, and just make it so that you can't bump both Ezra and Biggs. And it can be a little hard to see. I know I've seen on some other videos it can be difficult to tell the difference between Corran and Ezra. There. Yeah. Corran is the one that's being marked right now. Ezra is the ship up top. On these videos, E-Wings and attack shuttles look a whole lot alike.
Yeah, that's very true. Remember, we have a Patreon account
to
you
get
can
a
donate.
Better camera.
We will buy a better camera. We're in the process right now of creating a really awesome dice overlay.
Yeah.
Which should be debuted next week. Fingers crossed. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. If it works, it'll be awesome. We got a couple technical things to work out. Been working with Crafted Storage to work that out.
CraftedStorage@gmail.com.
Yeah, they've been
contact. There's also a Facebook page, I believe.
Yeah, you find them on Facebook or Gmail.
I think this is he did a 2 bank left with that back shuttle with the R4 Aggro mech, and I think that's the wrong move. Just in terms of you want to get as many people to bump as possible, and even though you're going to get Biggs, hopefully you're going to get Biggs.
I think the idea may have been to bump Biggs and Corran. That move with the shuttle, I was really not expecting.
The 1 bank in?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be probably a 4 forward just to overshoot and then fire your turret.
Well, I mean, that's the right move to 1 bank in. This way, he can decide whether or not he wants to spread damage between the Hawk and the Scout, or just hit Palob as hard as possible.
I think with Palob not being, his weapon is obviously pretty scary, and he's a squishy target, but he's taking 1 shield off that scout. Yeah,
so we're seeing a green maneuver with Corran for R2D2, so he's going to regen that shield. It looks like Aaron was assuming there was going to be an attempt at a bump, so he did a 2 bank right to to try to clear over.
And
Palob is out of range. Not going to be able to steal that token. That's a not being able to get that extra token for attack or defense is a big deal.
Yeah, and it's going to allow Ezra to fire it on attack. So he's not going to be able to nerf that attack. What I think we're going to see here is just a 4-die primary weapon attack into...
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think 4-die primary attack is the stronger move. Unless he puts damage.
So this is Corran to Palob. Yeah. It looks like 1 hit versus 1 evade.
Yeah, and he's switching over the fire control system. He may just try to put everyone into Palob this turn. That also makes sense, because he could double tap here. Corran's going to need to regen the next turn, so he'll, maybe do the classic Corran. 3 straight, run away, regen a shield.
Yeah, so Palob has to shoot at Biggs. And it looks like we got 3 hits right off the break. So there's 1 face down damage on Biggs.
Looks like he's using the old damage deck.
Yeah, it does look like that, which is interesting. I guess, by the time Corran's going to take that crit that may remove his pilot ability, you don't really care. So another face down damage on Biggs. It leaves Biggs with 1 hull left.
Yeah, if Corran's taking a crit, it's already game over anyways.
This is Biggs versus Palob. All kinds of evades coming down. So far, there's only been 1 shield off of the Jump Master.
This looks like, based on that shake, I think we're seeing a range 1 attack onto the Jump Master.
Yeah, Ezra range 1 into the Jump Master, definitely.
So, and here comes the backhand, you see, and it worked out for him there. So that looks like 4 hits.
4 hits, yeah.
And yeah, just like a normal toss of the dice from Clayton. Was that 1 evade?
Yeah, it looked like 1 evade. Now we're gonna see
another torpedo into. I guess it has to go into Biggs.
Yeah. So this is the ion torpedo coming from the overclocked astromech, and you're gonna see
4 hits.
Yeah, yeah, 4 hits. Definitely. They're discussing right now he was going to spend his token and then overclock again, but with guidance chips he can just flip it over from a focus to a hit. So right now, Aaron is trying to figure out exactly how best to mitigate this damage. It looks like there aren't any crits, so the best that's going to happen is he's going to take 3 and destroy 1 with integrated. Why do you think he's trying to get rid of all of his damage cards? I see a lot of people do that. Take as much damage as possible instead of like spending a focus and changing eyeball results to evade results if you know you're gonna die. Is there some better odds if you've run through the majority of the cards? No.
Absolutely not. Unless you've stacked your deck in some way. No, all the cards are essentially the same to you. I think it's just there's something cathartic about dealing out all that damage to your own ship,
So what we just saw is everybody at range 1 of Biggs now has
just
an
got ion.
Yeah.
So where do you think Aaron's gonna go this round?
I think he's gonna do a one straight white maneuver forward. The white maneuver is pretty dangerous to Corran because that will not regen a shield.
I think he's got full shields now, though. He took the one from Draw Their Fire, and then he did a green.
Yeah, I believe he is at full shields.
Because he did a 2-bank, which is green on the Ewing.
Yeah. So I think a 1 forward, a sloop, and I have no idea where to put Palob, except over that rock.
Yeah, I'm not sure if a 2 hard is going to bump or not. So one possibility, so you could, I think we're going to see the 2 white sloop from the scout that's in the middle, and then obviously just like a short green maneuver. I might intentionally ram Palob just so he's only taking 1 shot. I would force Corran to bump him.
Yeah, I want to bump into Corran with Palob.
So I'm thinking like a 3-bank probably.
3-bank left.
Yeah. I don't know. unless you think that your too hard is going to dodge that rock, but then you're still going to get shot by 2 ships there, probably.
And potentially you might get double tapped by Corran.
Yeah, he still can do that.
So no, I think that the best option here is to bump into Corran, and if you have to take a shot from Ezra, take a shot from Ezra. Yeah,
I mean it's gonna be, if you land in arc, Ezra might actually overshoot with that 1 hard. So it might just be the the 1 forward. It might just be the Autoblaster turret.
Yeah, which, again, you have to roll hits. Mm-hmm. Ezra still can take an action after clearing the Ion token. But, again, not getting shot by Corran at range 1 with the target lock.
Yeah, this means Palob will not have anyone to shoot at, though, because Ezra either naturally will be in range 1 or should be able to barrel roll back into range 1 if he's not. And so he'll just donut hole that TLT.
And that's fine. Palob's just not in a good position this turn.
Yeah.
I think it's better to, try to survive and take better shots when you have the chance.
So we saw the white 2 sloop, which will mean...
We have to clear the stress here, so 1 forward. Which Aaron really hopes will bump, but unfortunately for him, it does not.
They both got their torpedoes. And, he can now potentially ion torpedo Ezra and 1 forward him onto a rock. This is... you never see ion torpedoes. They're more expensive. They're 1 point more expensive than the protons, but we've seen here just how incredibly effective they can be.
Yeah.
I think you might see them be effective against PAL bases if anyone's near the shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
You just hit the shuttle and you ion the ace. So we are seeing
a 3 bank.
3 bank the other way,
and it's not gonna fit.
So he will bump Ezra, so that's okay. Bumping 1. But it's not the one he would prefer to bump.
Yeah, I think it's the wrong one to bump. So what I think is really interesting here is we lose our shield off the Hawk. So you have 1 proton torpedo and 1 ion torpedo left.
Yeah.
Who are you putting those into? Between Ezra and Corran.
It looks like Corran's going to be at range 1 of both these ships, so I'm going to... Yeah, it's tough to try to finish off Corran when you don't have tokens at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't have torpedoes at the end of the game, but I think you just gotta take the shots when you have them. I would definitely ion torp Ezra here to splash Corran again.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know. It's tough because the end game is going to be real difficult when you're looking at two dice primary versus R2D2 regen.
Yeah.
Especially when
he's got 3 greens.
Doesn't he have a 4 as well? 4 straight? Is
no, 3. 3 green dice.
Oh.
And we just saw hit and a crit come on to Palob here.
Yeah, and let's see. I have the. It's a direct hit.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're looking at 1 hull left on Palob.
Yeah. Which means Palob's going to run, and we know Aaron's going to want to finish him off, but it's going to be hard for him to get position. And so we're seeing, is this the ion torp being fired here?
Yeah, this is the ion torpedo. It's going to get fired. And
I think that's got to be into Ezra. I think.
Yeah, it's into Ezra. What Aaron's
going
to do though,
range 2 to 3, so it can't be. I don't think he had an option on Corran.
Is Aaron is going to use Elusiveness to make Clayton reroll one of his hits. Right now, I think the results are hit, focus, blank. With Elusiveness, you can take a stress and make your opponent reroll 1 die. So he's trying to figure out.
So what he really needs here is he needs there to be a crit in this batch.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the reroll to be a blank, because then Ezra can potentially evade both, and Corran eats 1. And then... Oh, that would still count as a hit, because Corran... I believe if Corran takes that, it counts as the attack hitting.
Yeah, I think so, too.
But at least spreading around the damage a little bit can be good for this squad.
Well, yeah, everybody getting ioned is not really what you want. Although, with Palob being there, Ezra won't move.
Oh, right. They will both be ioned, because that will splash your own ships.
Yeah.
So it looks like 3...
So he makes him reroll. It turns into a focus result, one of the hits. So using guidance chips, it's all 4 are hits. And unfortunately, Ezra blanks out.
Unfortunately, from a certain point of view.
Yeah. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending.
Okay, so Corran, was it? Oh, I guess he spent Chewbacca there to keep Ezra alive if he took 4.
Yeah.
But we still see Chewbacca face up here. So it may have been... Did Corran just eat one of those?
I don't know, maybe.
That must be what happened for Ezra to take 3 and still have Chewbacca.
Oh no, I think he had an evade token. That was his action.
Okay.
Oof.
Yeah, another torpedo.
So yeah, proton torpedoes going into Ezra. And in one turn, or 2 turns, we've seen Biggs come off and Ezra come off with the 2 torpedoes firing.
So yeah, he just used.
He used Chewbacca, but he wants. I don't know why, but again, he's trying to deal out as many cards as he can. I mean, I guess statistically you're losing direct hits.
It looked like he got evade results on those dice, though.
Oh,
so I thought he had dodged 2.
This is a dead.
Yeah,
Palob.
Hawk is gone. You can tell Aaron was rolling kind of pissed off there.
So yeah, this is as over as this looks, even with Corran going 1 forward.
Oh, I don't think it's over. All the torpedoes are now spent. Corran's, so if we think about, how many total points are in Corran Horn, which I think we have, conveniently. Oh, we don't have it right here. But Corran's like 40-something points.
Yeah, he's a large number of points.
And then if you think about, all right, well, how many points are the scouts? They're effectively 50 points total once all their torpedoes are gone. Deadeye is no longer useful. They're 50 points plus, like, their droids, I guess. So we're not looking at a completely unbalanced game here.
Yeah, and there is, I believe there are no shields on one of those scouts as well. Ezra and actually Ezra did all the shields off of one of them. Yeah, this is interesting. I wonder, what do you do this turn to try to make sure you get as much damage in as possible?
But as the scouts, you get as close to Corran as you can. I think the question for the scouts here is more about positioning for the next 2 to 3 rounds. Although obviously one of these scouts is going, if it just does a hard turn in, it's going to bump Corran.
Yeah, I think one bank right, and then maybe even just a 1 forward.
That might take Corran into range 2, and then you're not in good position to follow up.
Yeah.
So I might actually just do the 1 hard that bumps to keep as close to him as I can, and then have the other one kind of swoop around that rock, the one that's stressed. So he needs to clear it, and he can only do that by going straight or getting further away. So I think maybe like a 2 forward followed by a barrel roll for... he won't be able to barrel roll because Corran will have to move after. So probably a 2 forward or either a 3 bank and just hold on to the stress. And I know Clayton's probably got to be thinking about setting up the long-term attacks where, you target lock 1 turn, you don't spend the target lock, you save it for later, and then, you have them both target lock focused in the same round of shooting, because you have to pile that damage on really quick against Corran. What's going to hurt Corran is he's fighting against turrets. So every time he regens a shield, he's pointing the wrong direction, basically. And then those rounds where he has to, turn around to get shots, he's going to be stressed, and those are probably going to be his, best chances to double tap. Right, so we saw the sloop there. That was interesting. I guess that puts him in a good position to follow up next turn. Mm-hmm. Is this going to put Corran on that rock or no?
No, Corran is going to be safe from the rock.
And Corran will get an action here, so he's probably debating between the focus and the evade.
Yeah, I think he's going to take an evade token. Although he may have taken a focus.
If you're expecting to roll 3 dice twice, the focus is the much stronger action there.
So he's going to use Forlom to freeze that token.
Yep.
And it looks like just 1 hit.
It looks like you got the order wrong. I believe you use Forlom after you've already rolled.
Yeah, actually, so that's going to come into play a lot later on. Clayton is deciding whether or not to use Forlom before he rolls the dice. Which, with Forlom, you have the luxury of rolling your dice, seeing your die results, and then deciding whether or not to take the Ion token.
Yep.
There's going to be a couple moments where I feel like that makes a big
spoiler
difference.
alert.
Well,
Tim has already watched this game. I have not.
I've seen it 3 times. I think I've done a good job up until this point.
That is 2 more times than I've seen The Force Awakens.
I've seen The Force Awakens more times than I've seen this game. That's for darn sure. So yeah, no, it looks like we lost only 1 shield on Corran.
Yeah, that's not too bad for him, but this turn he has to K-turn, so he's not going to reach in it. If Corran runs, Corran has lost.
Why do you think that?
Because Corran doesn't have a rear arc, and he's losing on points by a lot. So, all the obvious reasons, I guess, is why I think that.
I think there's still a fair amount of time left in this match.
Yeah, he just can't run, though. He has to turn and fight.
Not immediately.
Yeah, even if he runs here, that's, I think, a terrible place to be in. Especially when you're only down 1 shield, this is your best time to go ahead and turn around.
Yeah, well, don't worry, he does, as you can see.
Yeah, I've played against Aaron a few times. And I beat him in the most gimmicky way possible. I was running 2 aggro TLT Y-Wings and Dengar against him, and I just kept landing my ships outside of range 3 of Biggs and was able to pull down Corran really early on in the game. Corran just blanked his defensive rolls and died outside the protection of Biggs.
So we just saw a hit and a crit go through onto the scout, and it was a weapons failure.
Oh, that is... Weapons failure on the scout is kind of... That's death to the scout there. Well, until he fixes it, but... a one die ship is not going to put damage on Corran. So there's the 1 die, and Yeah, so it's only a 50-50 chance of getting a result. And are we going to see the double tap? I think if I'm Corran, I'd go ahead and do it. You know, you prefer the range 1 double tap, but I don't know that I'm sure to get shots in this next round.
You also, there's only, I think, 2 hull left on that scout. So if he can put the damage through,
yeah,
this is the right choice. And sure enough, it's enough to pull the scout off the board. Ooh.
Yep, and with the droids on these ships, the double tap will pay off because if they don't spend their focus on defense, with Aggro mech, you're very likely to go ahead and spend your focus on offense. Even if you don't have, if you roll 2 blanks, you'll often go ahead and spend the focus to pick up a target lock. Or 2 hits, you want to spend the focus to pick up a target lock just for the next round.
Yeah.
And then that buffs Corran's double tap. So he does really like those 2 droids. And then with Overclocked, you know, he can at least, I guess on the first attack, force you to stress yourself to get a focus to use against the second attack. Yeah. And then he doesn't even necessarily have to do the second attack there. So we're probably going to see, I think, a 2 bank to the right from Corran. He's going to try to bump and get his shield back at the same time. But that's based on where the ship is going. And the alternative is, if he predicted this, well, let's see. Because he really does not want to land within range 1. Yeah, so he's moving away. He'll get his shield back. Although, even if he landed in range 1, all that he does is he takes an evade and, you know, probably at most takes 1 damage. Mm-hmm. Here, going away with the evade, you know, Clayton's got to hit him twice to do anything. So now, you know, the game's obviously going in Aaron's favor.
Yeah, we're not going to see Corran come back into fight until he has full shields. And yeah, even with 9 hit points, you know, 5 hull and 4 shields, the Jump Master's at a severe disadvantage right now. So there goes 1 shield and 1 damage. So that would be the end of Corran, except for the hull upgrade. So we just saw Corran blank out. I think he was 4-lommed, and a hit, 2 hits went through, and it did the shield he regened, and then his final hull. Except he's got a hull upgrade, so you need 3 damage on the hull.
Yeah. Yeah, 4-lom against that evade token will be pretty strong. This is why when you're looking at the end game, you want to kill whoever has 4-lom if you have any sort of option. Mm-hmm. Because when you've got 2 ships, 4-lom is not really that scary. Because if he 4-loms one of your tokens, you just use it on the other attack. When it's just 1-on-1, then 4-lom gets to be a much bigger danger. Because you're never getting defensive tokens. Especially when you don't have push the limit for multiple tokens. So he's going to get a shield back. He's thinking about if he wants to barrel roll, I guess. Yeah, so at this point he can do, you know, possibly another green to go ahead and get a second shield back. Or he might just go ahead and K-turn and then start doing the green forwards and get his shields back that way. I don't know if it makes much of a difference. It's going to take that scout too many rounds to get back. I think he'll be full shields kind of either way. Yeah. Or he could just, you know, 2-bank his way around the board and fight among those rocks.
Yeah, and so this is really difficult because basically you have to get 5 damage through with 2 dice in 2 rounds. Mm-hmm.
Well, what he needs to be in position to do, what really hurt him there was being ioned. Because if he can do, you know, 1 or 2 damage, and then do the white sloop, and just keep white slooping against Corran, then he can potentially win, especially if he's able to art dodge Corran ever, using that barrel roll.
So again, another green maneuver with Corran to regen the shield.
Yeah. So he's now back to 2 shields. I think at this point we're probably going to go ahead and see the K turn, and then he'll just regen the 3rd one coming out of the K turn.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one thing people kind of forget is you got to think about your regenning shields a couple rounds in advance. It doesn't matter. You want to get it back, but you don't always need it back right away. So if you know that you're going to be doing a green maneuver later because you're going to K turn, you can just go ahead and get them. Clear your stress and R2D2 in the same move.
Exactly, especially if you know that you're not going to get hit.
Yeah.
And with the E-Wing, the 2 banks are green, so we'll probably see a 2 bank left for the next maneuver.
Yep, get them
clear
pointed
the
the right
stress
way.
and gain a shield back. So who do you think has the advantage here?
I think it's definitely with Corran, but I don't think it's a complete runaway just yet. Because that Jump Master, it has, the possibility to get nasty with the white sloops and barrel rolling, and potentially, just shooting Corran every turn and just, stacking up damage and trying to have rounds where he's not getting shot. So I think he barrel rolled away just to make I'm looking at maybe a 3 bank from Corran this next turn. I think he barrel rolled away to make that 3 bank just cover a better arc.
So we're at full shields now. Full shields in 1 hull.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the Jump Master is just taking his time coming around.
Yeah, I don't know if I would actually have done that. I think I want to get into the rocks to potentially limit Cornhorn's K-turning abilities. I want to be in that open space doing my 2 sloops and forcing Corran to K-turn against me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even just the 2 sloop. He can do 1 hards to just stay within range of Corran every turn as well.
Yeah. 1 hard and barrel roll. Especially because we know pretty much exactly where he's going to be this next round. 1 or 2 hard left.
And you do not want to telegraph your position to Corran like that. I believe he does have a 5 forward on the E-Wing.
I'm not 100% sure, but that sounds about right.
Yeah, and he's going to jump in there and really want to be a range 1.
I think he just goes slowly. There's no rush for Corran at this point. The Jump Master can't regen his shields. It's better for Corran if he can get 2 attacks in, 2 subsequent turns, not his double attack.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be able to get the subsequent attacks without one of them being on the round that he K-turns. Because the Jump Master is just so fast that it can shoot past you the next turn. So if he is going to double tap, he's going to get it on the K-turn possibly.
Yeah, I mean,
so it looked like he blanked out his first attack on the Jump Master.
No, I think he removed 1 or 2 shields, and then unfortunately you're looking at 4 dice. And even though you're 4 long, he doesn't need that token.
Yeah, that seems like not a great 4-lom opportunity there. Although you're a large base ship, you don't care much about having 1 ion.
Well, so again, he's deciding whether or not to 4-lom before he rolls his die results. Which, when you roll hit blank, you're thinking, man, I shouldn't have 4-lommed.
Yeah.
And you're right. You should have waited until after you roll your attack dice before the defender rolls his defense dice or her defense dice.
Yeah. So we're gonna pull up the exact language on 4-lom because I had actually initially misunderstood it as well. So. Let's see, I'm playing around with, what is this, xwing-builder.co.uk. 4-lom is, when attacking, it's during the modify attack dice step, you may receive 1 ion token. So technically,
he's
just breaking the rules here by modifying. You're not allowed to modify beforehand.
Well, the other important thing is that it says during your dice modification step. So what that means is you roll your
attack dice. Yeah.
You roll your attack dice. The defender modifies the attack dice, and then you get to modify your attack dice. So you'll find out whether or not you're going to be sensor jammered, or Tarn's going to make you. Yeah, R7's going to make you re-roll, or elusiveness. You get to find out all of these things before you decide whether or not you're going to use that forlom. And I think again that wording is really important because it makes a huge difference in how effective you're going to be with your attacks.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Promise kept. I don't know. Like that was this was the moment that I was talking about earlier.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm not 100% sure what you do here. Do you try to do a 2 sloop to the left?
No, I think a 4 forward. Looks like maybe a 3. That's either the 3 or the 4. I'm gonna hope that Corran did not K turn and risk being blocked on the K, and then I'll just shoot past him. So that's my plan. And he's doing a 3 hard away.
Yeah, again, the Corran doesn't really care at this point. The ability to regen. He's gonna be able to. I think that Jumpmaster only has like 2 shields left. There's at least 20 minutes left in the round. All Corran really needs to do is just line up his shots whenever he wants, take that double tap, and in the next 20 minutes, you're easily going to be able to take those 2 shields off without getting past your shields, and then just run the clock out.
Oh, he's not going to run the clock out. He wants to kill.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Yeah. I think that he's going to go for the kill too.
Yeah,
but
here 2 dice into 3, and I guess he's.
I mean, again, this is really difficult because if you decide to forlom, you're just going to get further and further away.
Yeah, you've got a forlom when you're pointing already in the right direction.
Yeah, he didn't in that.
Yeah, so in that instance, looks like no damage there.
So yeah, then.
But we're not going to see a K turn here. I think that would most likely put him on the rock.
I think so too.
So he's just going to have to do a hard turn. I don't think they have a 1 hard.
No, I think you're just going to see a 2 bank right. Regen a shield if you're missing a shield.
I don't think he's not down a shield though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think we're going to see a hard turn in.
Well, we definitely saw 1 hard turn in.
Her.
Oh, look at that.
It's
a 3K with
3K turn.
With Corran. Maybe that was a 4.
No, that was definitely the 3. Does he have a 3K?
I think they do. So that fire control systems with Corran is really powerful.
1 hit.
Well, you gotta roll the evades. There it is.
Yeah, 6 dice and 1 hit.
Yeah, 2 dice.
So now this was, a good turn to.
2 shields
you
off
can't.
of Corran.
I was gonna say this is a good chance to forlom, except you can't forlom in this position because he doesn't have a token.
Exactly.
But
I mean, you could
token,
freeze that stress if you wanted. Can't spend the stress during your defense.
I think it's only focus and evade, or is it any token?
I don't know.
Let's check, because if it is, that actually would be interesting. So we are looking at 4 loms text. Choose one of the defender's focus or evade tokens. So you cannot. I guess it really wouldn't make any sense against Kian because that's only on attack. But you could perhaps, with R7, you could say you can't spend your target lock on defense.
Yeah. So Aaron wants to bump. Clayton doesn't want to bump. Well, I take that back. Clayton may want to bump, but I think.
No, he does not want to let Aaron get a shield back for free. I mean, he would like to be able to take shots and not.
Well, I think if he didn't want to bump him, he shouldn't have done a 2 bank in his direction.
Yeah, but I think the bump does not really help him.
No, I think it helps Aaron.
Yeah.
Because now Aaron gets his shield back.
I think he's got to turn in a way that lets him barrel roll. and just be out of arc and take a free shot.
Yeah, something that just popped into my mind. I forgot to mention it when we were watching, but during the first or second round of combat, I think it was the second round of combat, round 3 of the match, Clayton misses an opportunity to attack with one of his scouts. He just doesn't attack with them. It's the round when Ezra did the 3 damage at range 1. Okay. He never attacked with that scout that was bumped into Corran and Biggs.
Oh, he probably saw that he was bumped and forgot that he could still shoot Ezra.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it makes that much of a difference, but, you know,
it would
something
mean
to
that
notice.
Potentially he has another torpedo that he wouldn't have had to have spent to kill Ezra.
Yeah, or maybe he would have decided to not use the torpedo, which I think, you know, again, in this instance, and Clayton's gotten him down twice now, you know, down shields and down hull, but still just not able to put that final damage through. And I really think a torpedo at this point would be the answer. So Aaron's deciding what type of action to take.
And this is basically just the X-Wing video game at this point. You run in, you do some hits, you fly away, switch everything to regen shields, drain your weapons.
Yeah, have R2 fix all of your systems, and then once you've regened all your shields,
you come back into the fight.
Spin back around.
So now he is double ioned.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're gonna see a 1 straight, which, you know, again, Corran knowing exactly where you're gonna be is never a good position. Yeah. You know, I think I turn in and just
blast him. Yeah. Turn in. Either focus or evade, depending on exactly how many shields you have left and how much you like living.
Well, I mean, at this point, you know,
I'd actually probably take the if I'm Corran and I've got shots, I don't think I'm going to take the evade token. I'm going to take the focus because I'm not going to be able to spin it on defense anyways.
Right.
With Forlom. And the only thing that the evade token does is you make you spend it. But in that case, you just don't spend your focus on your first attack. You save it for the second one. Mm-hmm. Unless you roll, you know, multiple eyeballs. So he's looking at, he's going to try to barrel roll and force a bump.
Which I don't think that.
And this looks like K-turn.
Yeah.
Yep, I think Aaron was already predicting, you know, that the turn in was going to force the bump there. 1 hit, and the reroll, we're going to see just 1. And that's some blank dice there.
I think that's the last shield.
Shoots back, 1 hit.
Evaded.
Yep. Those E-Wings are brutal if you can get them through the end game. Mm-hmm. But that's the real trick is.
But you hardly ever see E-Wings. Well, you know, except for Corran. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, with proton bombs and Wampa and torpedoes and those things out there, it's a little tough to take an E-Wing without also taking Biggs. And then once, you know, that's your squad, it's, you know, Corran, Biggs, and someone else. There's not a lot of room to play around with it. And I think that's possibly what's making the E-Wings not come out there.
Yeah. Well, I really think there's a lot of potential for E-Wings and B-Wings, and I think that, you know, as the more waves come out, we're going to see some you know, upgrades that are going to be more beneficial for E-Wings or B-Wings. I already like the...
Well, we're going to see some new droids with...
the ARC. Have we decided whether or not we're going to call it the ARC or the ARC 170?
It's the ARC 170.
Not the ARC 170?
It's not the ARC 170.
Why not? Because those are all capital letters.
It's the ARC 170. NASA's all capital letters, but we don't call it the NASA.
I do.
That sounds like an organization that's putting like satellites up into space to spy on us.
To be fair.
Oh wait.
To be fair,
that is what the NASA does.
Is N period A period S period A period. This is just ARC. There's no periods in there.
It's the ARC 190.
All right.
But yeah, we will see some new droids, which will help out the E-Wing, X-Wing, and maybe something. I want to see something that makes a Y-wing that's not a torpedo platform. Makes sense.
It could be a they should create a turret that
not a turret platform.
Oh, not a turret. You said torpedo.
Oh, sorry. I wanted it to not be a turret platform.
Well, it could be a bomb platform.
If you gave them Deadeye, you could run 4 of them with X munitions, proton torpedoes, and Deadeye at PS2.
That would be insane.
But what we're actually going to see is 4 of like the new PS5 bombers with Deadeye and torpedoes, and it's going to be so much worse than fighting these damn scouts.
Yeah, it's going to be a nightmare. I'm really not looking forward to it. Ugh. Alright, so it looks like another K turn was performed. He's trying to decide whether or not to barrel roll to block. We've got a target lock. Yeah, this is going to be a really tough round, because with only 5 hull left on the Jump Master, Corran's going to roll potentially 8 dice.
Yeah, that Jump Master really wants to be Han Solo right now. To just boost forward. And then no matter where Corran goes, he's not going to get arc on you. And then next turn you hard 1 and you're going to be able to, stay in close range. Really just having a boost on this guy would be fantastic. Because barrel roll is not going to help him. He needs to be at an angle pointing towards Corran more so that he can barrel roll out of arc after this move.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see the 1 forward.
Yep.
So even if he had decided to barrel roll to try to stay out of arc, Corran can also barrel roll.
Yeah, but he can barrel roll a whole lot faster than Corran can. If he had barrel rolled to the right, there's no way Corran gets that shot. But I think at this point he's probably figured out the math is not in his favor. And there we go. 4 hits from Corran. Fire control system keeps the lock on.
Yeah, spins the focus
to get the 4th hit. And blanks.
Double blanks. So
I think he has 1 hit point remaining.
Oh, there it is. Direct
2
hit.
and a crit. Yep, direct hit.
That was
and
the
that's
end.
it.
Yeah, no, I really think that not saving one of those torpedoes for Corran at the end, one of those proton torpedoes, is really the big deal. Mm-hmm. Even though Ezra has elusiveness and her innate ability, I still think it's easier to put down Ezra than it is to put down regen Corran Horn.
Yeah, if you are able to take if you can ever get range 1 shots on Ezra, which Ezra might give you in order to fire Autoblaster turret, 3 hits, Ezra cannot evade them all. Or if you're rolling 2 hits and Ezra ever rolls a blank. Mm-hmm. If Ezra's not taking